right, good morning, everyone. It's, 46 after 9 on this Monday. It's going to be another blended combo today of storm and snow talk. It's going to be very active. Perhaps one of the more active stretches of weather I've seen here in a while coming our way. So there are going to be a lot of changes, near daily chances, in fact, or changes to the outlook in the 10-day. So as we always say, keep checking back in because things will likely keep evolving, and it may not be the same forecast you saw even this morning, as there's a lot of moving parts there. But we'll dive into it. Hello, everyone. I'm wave meteorologist Brian Good. You guys can chat, of course. Sometimes you chat amongst yourselves, but I will try to get to some of your questions. I'll try to do that toward the end. Hopefully, I explain as much as I can in the short term, and then we'll cover that. But you can always chime in on YouTube, X, Facebook, and even Twitch. Is available to you. And a lot of you are on already. Hello to Autumn and Ms. Zombies on Twitch. Hello. Good morning to you. Hello to Sean as well. Yeah, starting to work on the asphalt there. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Those hot days will be here before you know it, right? Working out there. Thinking of you. All right, guys. So we'll get to a lot of your questions. I know the storm side of things is getting a lot of attention, but there are some other factors too that we need to break down. First off, let's talk about the fog that's out there. That's getting a lot of attention, right? Everyone's been talking about that this morning. Boy, I tell you what, my right end, I come in from the south, and it was basically zero visibility coming in. It was awful out there. And then you get toward downtown, and it improves dramatically. So the dense fog still lingering there. You see into E-Town, break it up a bit more on the airport in the bottom right, and Simpsonville, and even Bardstown, mainly just a high overcast coming into play. We can track that as well. Looking at visibility, some of the area airports considered about a half mile there at Fort Knox, quarter mile as you toward E-Town, 4 into Louisville. It's mainly along and south, really, of the Ohio River I-64, and that's impacting temperatures. I'll show you a different view on this in a minute. You see 40s and 50s, but let me show you the view from space, and it's a little harder to see, of course, with daylight saving time. I'm getting everything an hour later now, and this includes model data, by the way, SPC outlooks from the Storm Prediction Center. All that gets delayed compared to what we have in the winter months. So, yeah, it's a little frustrating. I don't have as much data when I talk to you guys. So what will happen typically in the spring season, especially, I end up doing 2 live blogs because if we get a lot of data that comes in after the first one that we need to discuss, I'll be back on. But anyway, just kind of a side note there. But because of the daylight saving time window, you don't see the clouds as bright as you normally would because the sun's not quite as high of an angle just yet. But it's creeping in like a scary movie from John Carpenter, and you can see it right across Louisville all the way into Lexington. And as I mentioned, it is starting to affect temperatures. Now, what will happen is you go from a fog, it's basically a cloud at the ground level, it'll begin to lift, gets above your head. You get into that overcast setup. The question is, when does that break up? Because if that takes a while to break up, and it tends to do that, especially in the cooler parts of the year, it's going to be a little harder to get a lot of warm air today. So temperatures in areas that hold on to the clouds, you will likely stay below 70, but still in the 60s, but below 70. And if you stay in a sunny spot or get a little bit more of a break, you will get closer to 73 to 75 today. So nearly a 10-degree difference, if not a bit more, depending on how these clouds behave over the next few hours. Just a little bit of a catalyst to throw out. Nothing as far as off the chain here, as far as downpours are going to form in severe weather today or anything like that. It's just today is all about sky condition and temperature. That's our challenge today. If that's the only thing I got to worry about, I'm in good shape. However, there are other things to worry about. First wave of moisture is going to be increasing here into Arkansas. Already got a severe thunderstorm warning out, in fact, just west of Little Rock. That is going to be building later on tonight to the north and east, hence the fog. That's the warmer flow of air going over a bit of a cooler ground and allowing for that foggy setup here this morning. So we know that warmer, more humid air is trying to build back in from the southwest, right? This is not really parts directly of the cold front portion, which will be the big severe weather that will be the bigger headline for tomorrow and Wednesday. There's a big gap between the warm front swinging through and then the cold front for Wednesday. Okay, so, and there's a break there in between, which will be tomorrow. Now, as this little wave moves northeast, there is a chance to get a few thunderstorms. Now, the severe risk today is roughly south of Memphis, heading toward Tunica, Little Rock, down toward Birmingham, as well, maybe even Jackson, Mississippi. That's your severe risk. But the Storm Prediction Center also, you don't always see this, but they do display the even general chance to get a thunderstorm. And you see that potential then extends into southern Kentucky. And that is interesting because I do think that is possible. Late tonight and early tomorrow, we may get a few small elevated thunderstorms. What I mean by that, the bases will be pretty high. Small hail may be one of the factors, a little bit of lightning, but nothing really wild with that. Just something that may wake you up early in the morning, or you may run into one or two of those downpours on the way to work and school tomorrow. And again, it's mainly a southern Kentucky issue. I like where they painted that because as you're seeing the data, that kind of matches. We'll come back to that and circle around in just a second. As far as your severe risk in general for tomorrow, then it becomes the cold front setup. This is what everyone's been talking about on social media, where you got the enhanced risk here. I don't know if they'll go higher into a moderate or not. I don't know. But, I mean, it's pretty impressive. This is a warm front, really. I mean, the cold front is over in this section. So this is really a warm front that stretches to Chicago that's firing up these supercells that were trained as we head into Illinois. You're going to hear a lot about Missouri, Illinois, and northern Indiana tomorrow. You're going to hear a lot about it. And it's going to be a bit delayed. It'll probably be more tomorrow night before they really fire. I think much of the early part of the day is going to be very quiet here. It's all late into the night, which is dangerous. Now we're getting to the darkest of night and severe weather outbreaks, and you don't want that. Notice we are in the marginal. That's more so for, again, the outlooks have changed now. So they are roughly 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So this outlook will cover all the way to 8 a.m. As we head into Wednesday morning, excuse me. So there is a chance some of those storms may develop or drift a little closer to the Ohio River in southern Indiana early Wednesday. In fact, I'm growing a little more concerned that early Wednesday may be busier than Wednesday afternoon, the way it's looking here. But it's messy. It's not a clear-cut forecast, unfortunately. Of course, as we end Wednesday, our outlook is the slight risk that we have. Notice they basically pick up where the other one left off. So they kind of start here where the slight risk ended and then draw that slight risk starting there just because the date line crosses over. They draw it from 8 a.m. Does that make sense? I hope it does. These outlooks can be a little confusing sometimes, but that's their thought process is fitting in that entire window. So sometimes you see these outlooks and you're thinking it's going to be a stormy day when in reality, since it's a wide window the outlook goes for, it's actually storms that'll be late at night or something like that, or early morning. So anyway, it's going to be active, no doubt, as this boundary just sinks into the Ohio Valley here between Tuesday and Wednesday. All right, so here's a closer look at our slight risk for Wednesday. It's when most of our counties are in the slight risk. That's when our alert day is in effect. Our alert day will be starting early, though, for Wednesday morning, as we have a chance to get some large hail potential and even an isolated tornado threat early Wednesday. I'm not going to rule it out, especially for Indiana. Otherwise, the main question will be, how busy will it be Wednesday? Because that will impact what happens Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday night. So here we go. We'll start with a couple of models. We'll start with the HURRD. Now, the HURRD can't see the entire event just yet. It's close, but it's showing today. Again, we'll try to go partly cloudy this afternoon. The faster we do, the warmer we'll get. It's showing a few hints of a sprinkle or two this afternoon. I'm not really sold on that part just yet. The red, by the way, is just fuel being added into the atmosphere, but overall, we're not primed yet to develop anything. But later on tonight, yeah, we could. And you can see that we got some of those spotty downpours. I would say roughly 2 to 8 a.m. is a fair window. And locations, the parkways, Western Kentucky Bluegrass Parkway or Litchfield to Bardstown, that zone and south could get a few smaller downpours. Nothing major here for tomorrow morning. Just don't want you to be caught off guard without an umbrella or anything like that early tomorrow morning. Relatively small chance. Rest of the day actually doesn't look bad. We're going to be relatively capped here, so it's going to be hard for much to fire during the day on Tuesday, and therefore we have a chance to get quite warm. Potential to get between 75 and 80 as we head into your Tuesday. So not a bad setup, right? Maybe mostly cloudy at times, and that too will impact temperature, but I think it's going to be, I think we'll have enough sun breaks or enough hazy or filtered sunshine to get us at least in the mid 70s. And the more sun we get than expected and we mix down a little bit in the afternoon, yeah, we can easily hit 80. Not going to rule it out. Okay, then we get into Tuesday night and Wednesday. Now, this is where the HURRD kind of stops. Can't see anything really. All right, so now we're going to switch over to the graph model, our in-house model, which has a very similar storyline. Certainly has the fog placed very well for where it is right now. It shows it's going partly cloudy, and then it's got the storms even for tomorrow morning. Again, minor stuff. Most of your severe risk again is going to be down toward Mississippi and Alabama with the warm front itself. Otherwise, just some spotty showers. But again, these are classic small hail, pea-sized hail type makers you can get. So I'm not going to rule it out. All right, after they pass on by, then we get into Tuesday afternoon, partly cloudy and warm, no problems. All right, and then we get into Wednesday. This is where severe weather is going to be breaking out into already ongoing, actually, into areas of Illinois. I don't know why that drew there. Sorry. Illinois, Indiana, Missouri. But notice what happens here for Wednesday morning. We get some development in southern Indiana and northern Kentucky. Now, typically in this particular spot, we will have the storms just because of time of day. Again, a little bit higher of a base, and I am seeing signs of that. So these typically are more hail producers than tornado makers, but you can get some bases that are low enough that it's a little iffy. But I don't want to play that too much on a tornado risk right now for Wednesday morning. I think hail is something to watch, and a lot of lightning for Wednesday morning. I don't know how much coverage we're going to get into Kentucky, but southern Indiana to near Louisville, yeah, it's a fair bet. This is still ongoing. I got a feeling the next 24 hours with the data is going to fine tune this, but it's very messy. It's very messy. So I don't want to get too specific on times and impacts when I don't have a high enough confidence yet on what those will be, to be completely honest with you all. Don't have enough data yet to go there, but I at least can get a general sense that this could be an active period. Otherwise, we will then deal with a cold front that will then move in as we head into Wednesday afternoon. It's the same old song and dance. If it's stormy early in the day and rainy and cloudy, the afternoon threat gets tamed. If it's not as active in the morning, the afternoon threat goes higher. You guys are used to that. That's usually how it goes around here. You got to have the fuel or you don't have much of a show. And I really hope we don't have an issue on either end, to be honest. But both ends of the day, the alert day is going to be a long alert day for Wednesday just because we have to account for the morning risk and all the way into the cold front passes. And it doesn't mean it's going to storm like that all day long. It's just that we have to be on guard until the cold front moves through. We got to be ready to go. It passes on by, and then we get cooler after that. Let me show you. Let's see. This is the CSU analogs, even for tonight. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a hail signal and wind signal into southern Kentucky. It's very low wind signal, so I'm not too worried about that. But I thought that was interesting that it's showing up. Okay, tomorrow. Ooh, all right. Well, now we get into your tornado potential. Certainly max that around St. Louis and Illinois. Hail potential, nearly the same spot. Makes sense. Your supercells are there. And your damaging wind threat also in that spot. We are on the low end, if barely in the category at all tomorrow, because, again, we're going to be relatively quiet. That's good. Now we get into Wednesday. Now the front starts to spread out a little more because the low moves a little bit more into the northeast. So we don't have as much of a powerful wind field as what there is in the Midwest tomorrow, but still enough that everything is on here. Tornado potential, hail, and damaging winds. They're not overly high values, but they're there. So the slight risk certainly looks valid for that period of time. All right, what questions just on the severe side of things before we move on about the system that I can try to answer? And again, I'm not going to be able to cover everything in specific locations, but I can do generalities. How about that? Hey, Amanda, hope you're well. How early for the storms tomorrow morning? Again, 2 to 8 a.m. looks to be the window, and mainly southern Kentucky. And I'm not looking at severe. And in some cases, they may not even have lightning, to be honest. But I just don't want you to be caught off guard with downpours. Make sense? I'm a zombie. Will today be a nice day to open up the windows, the air at the house? Yeah, it'll be a nice day. I mean, it's a little humid out, but there's no active weather, no rain to worry about. And once we get into the partly sunny sky, which hopefully will happen soon, once that happens, it will be a little breezy, so you'll feel that wind flow through the house. But right now, it's relatively stagnant outside. Can we see you Wednesday? Showed you Wednesday. I don't know if you saw that, but Wednesday, again, is going to be stormy in the morning, stormy in the afternoon. So Wednesday is just going to be an active day overall. You're welcome, Amanda. Lexi, yeah, not really all day, but again, 2 time periods, Wednesday morning into Wednesday night. We're not really out of the safe zone. Once we get the warm front that'll move in, Lori, I have a question in a second. Once we get the warm for the move in, we get into the danger zone until the cold front moves in. We've got to just be on guard, but it doesn't mean you have all the ingredients to fire up storms that entire time. There's only certain windows where that's possible. And I'm hoping we can narrow down that window for Wednesday morning and Wednesday afternoon, but I can't yet. I can just tell you it's morning and afternoon, hang tight. Hopefully tomorrow when I talk to you all, we can have a bit of a narrow window of when that's possible. But to be honest, a lot of this is going to depend on how things just develop Tuesday night. So it's all last minute. That's how it goes. How cold would it be? Not overly cold. We'll get to the 10-day in a second, Lexi, but the cold weather is coming later, as you're about to see. Hey, Tanya, we're driving to Arkansas tomorrow. You will run into some thunderstorms probably in the morning, but most of Arkansas's activity is going to be more tonight, late tonight. But by tomorrow, I don't think you'll have a whole lot there into Arkansas because the storms will not really even fire there until late Tuesday night. So if you're traveling during the day tomorrow, daytime periods on you should actually be in pretty good shape. All right, so let's get into the second phase of this whole thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to the Euro for this. You do see the colder patch of air, but it's not extreme, roughly about 50 for high on Thursday. All right, we can handle that. I mean, yeah, that's compared to the 70s. It's parka weather, right? What is interesting on Friday, we saw this last week. It's still there, and this is actually borderline alert day set up for Friday. And it's going to be a little odd because I don't know if we're going to get much rain at all. But this low pressure, boy, I tell you what, it has got quite the pressure gradient that is around it for Friday. Wind gusts could get to advisory level, especially for Indiana, but possibly into Kentucky. So stay tuned. Gust 40 to 45 miles per hour. I'm not going to roll it out on Friday. It will be a warming wind, though. There's a plus. It'll surge us back into the 60s easily after that cool day on Thursday. Friday, we'll have a big jump with this low pressure, but I don't know if we'll get much rain out of it. It looks relatively dry just because the system that's coming through the next couple of days is going to take a lot out of the atmosphere. So there's not a lot for this to work with. And plus the wind angle is more like this, not coming from the Gulf. So you don't get a lot of moisture in that direction. So not too worried on that. But we're watching Friday. Saturday looks good. I think we're going to have a nice day. Sunday, unfortunately, is not looking as nice. I think Sunday looks warm, but this is a powerful low here. Again, limited on moisture, especially in the southern side because it's moving fairly quick. But there could be what we will likely see a skinny squall line of thunderstorms Sunday night. This, too, is trending toward an alert day for two reasons. The thunderstorm setup, some of which could be strong, and the potential that we could get perhaps some gradient wind that could get close to about 40 to 45 miles per hour or even a touch higher for this boundary on Sunday. So there's two issues there, storms and then just a general very windy setup. But boy, look at the snow into Iowa. It is possible later Sunday night into Monday, we could get some of this rain may end as a few snowflakes. Otherwise, it is going to get cold and blustery for next week. Snow showers will likely try to break out, especially north and east of Louisville as we head into Monday night and Tuesday. There is a chance that wind chills Tuesday morning could dip into the single digits briefly. Yikes. Ooh, you guys ready for that? Well, you can't say you didn't know it was coming. We've been talking about it for a long time. And then we get a warm front that tries to get into this cold. Well, that gets interesting because then we could get some snow about the middle of the week. After that, we do try to warm up, but I do think the cold is going to fight us at times. So a little bit of a different weather pattern as we evolve into the middle here of March and perhaps into late March. It may not be as active with severe weather. At least we'll get us a little bit of a pause there. I don't think it's going to hold for long, but the trade-off will be cold. So let me show you, this is the GFS ensemble for, in general, snow chances into next week. I know it's hard to read, but these are the different ideas that just the GFS has on its own. And just about half of them, at least half of them, have accumulating snow that does fall into Kentucky. And some are quite aggressive with the snow. Not ready to go there yet, but all right. Hang tight, as we say. So here you go. Here's the 10-day. We'll watch the numbers today. Just depends on the clouds when they break up. Tomorrow is the Indiana tornado drill, by the way, at 10:15. I don't see it being very active, so that should be able to take place. Wednesday's the alert day, active again morning and again in the afternoon. We'll see if it fills in the gaps. We get into Friday, gusty winds, jump into 60s, and then Saturday 60s, may even go as 70s here Saturday and Sunday, the way it's looking here, perhaps well into the 70s. Sunday is turning toward an alert day, and then, we drop like a rock. If you're heading out to enjoy St. Patrick's Day on the day itself, I know the parade is this weekend. Thank goodness that looks to be the quiet day. But if you're going out St. Patrick's itself, you may need a green coat as you venture out. What question's going to get to you real quick? And then unfortunately, I got a lot to take care of because there's so much to prepare for the show today. Would you say, Tanya? So you're telling me to extend our vacation till late next week? Yeah. If you're in a warmer area, just wait a while if you don't want to deal with this cold. The constant interruption of ads on the apps. Are there interruptions? I don't have anything playing. I'm not seeing anything anyway. Let me know though what's playing on your end. I'm not sure if it's your, and let me know if you're on the news or the weather app too. That makes a difference, so I know. Melissa, oh goodness, that's a bunch of weather. It is a lot. Look at that. Like I always say, I mean, I literally had black hair like a week ago. It's gray, isn't it? It's not new. I mean, it is new. You guys are like, yeah, right. What are the questions? SnowTALK, Jedediah, no SnowTALK. Jedediah says that every time. Jedediah, how long have you been asking that? For like 2 weeks? I mean, 10 years? Would you say, Tawana? The weather is giving me migraines. I know, I feel you. It's, this is not a fun one. It's not a fun one. But anytime you deal with a pattern like that, I mean, this is very classic March, guys. I mean, honestly, it reminds me, if you remember, let's hope it's not a 2018 repeat. 2018, we ended up with 11 inches of snow on the first day of spring, March 20th. I know Tawana remembers that because the snowflakes were stuck in my eyelashes out in the weather garden. Couldn't even see me, actually. We then ended up with an inch of snow on April 5th, 2 weeks before Thunder over Louisville. We had an inch of snow on the ground. Everything was covered. Then we warmed up, and then we had, you guys remember, the record rain on Derby Day of over 3 inches. So 2018 was one heck of a spring, right? Now, I don't see that kind of a signal yet showing up, but it reminds me of that period, though, just because of the back and forth in the late season type of snow. So just try to give you an example. That it wasn't that long ago we had things, extremes like this that were even worse. So you just never know around here. 3 years ago, it was wind, right? We had the 2 windstorms, March and April. So this period is always a wild card and always fascinating to watch. Hey, Adam, watching on Facebook, YouTube, no interruptions. Okay. The weather app you stream out of, ads are quite often. It does not pause the stream and lose a minute or two your broadcast. Okay, thanks for letting me know. I'll mention that and pass that along. I don't see right now where I'm at. I can't see what you all see on the stream side. So it's good to know that. I don't want you guys to miss out on a lot. As always, of course, if you do, I do post this on the app. It takes about an hour to get the blog up, but it also on social media, especially on Facebook, it does replay without those interruptions. So if you do miss it or there's something that you didn't catch, there are options for you to get the full blog later if you didn't catch it live. But I understand when you're watching live, you don't want to miss out, especially if I'm about ready to say, we're about to get blank inches of snow and it cuts out right when I'm about to say it. I know, trust me. All right, last question here, and I got to run. Brianne, I see my son has a field trip tomorrow in Indy. Do we have anything to worry about? No, I don't see anything in Indy for the daytime. It'll be warm up there in Indy, but even there, again, there's severe risk for Indiana and Illinois and St. Louis is going to be very delayed into Tuesday night. So daytime for a lot of the region is actually going to be fairly quiet. So I hope they have fun on the field trip. I miss those days. Don't you miss those field trip slips, those green ones you had to take home and get signed? Oh, the good old days. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Stay safe and stay close to the forecast. As you can tell, we're going to be on a lot the next several days with a lot of updates. So it's important that you stay close so we can keep you updated. All right, guys. See you at midday.